Warm tributes in today's newspaper to Michael Foot, the former Labour Party leader who died yesterday at a grand old age in his 90s. Friends and political enemies, including Lady Thatcher herself, have expressed admiration for his personal honesty and decency, love of books and love of Parliament. And of course much is being said about his power of speech. Many of the obituarists are wondering today whether he was the last of a breed, preserving a grand style of political rhetoric that has now all but gone. We're playing some highlights this morning. Here he is rallying his Labour Party faithful at the 1975 annual conference, long before he became leader, poking fun at Geoffrey Howe in response, it must be 1985, there's a misprint here, in response to the Queen's speech. There are several clips coming up, actually. There is one poking fun at the Chancellor, Geoffrey Howe, in response to the 1980 Queen's speech. But that'll be preceded by something at a Labour conference from 1975. And then you hear him in 1982, during the Falklands conflict, urging on the government a peaceful solution. So first, back to 1975.
I hope the main message that will go out from this conference to our movement up and down the country: don't be afraid. Don't let this great labour movement of ours be afraid. We've lived through this argument and we still survive, and we will come out a stronger Labour government, I believe, at the end. Don't be afraid. And I say to our country, our great country, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of those who tell us that we cannot run our affairs, that we have not got the ingenuity to mobilize our resources and overcome our economic problems. Of course we have. We can do that and save the freedom of our country at the same time.
I now turn to page 2. The page 2, my lords and members of the House of Commons. The first paragraph, the one I presume that has been drafted by the Chancellor of the Exchequer, or at any rate accepted by him. There are no figures here. I always have a little difficulty in dealing with figures. Yes, but whenever I hear the Chancellor of the Exchequer, my self-confidence in this field is refreshed. I suggest, therefore, that what the Right Honourable Lady ought to do is to take proper note both of the warnings from her Admiral and of the invitations from the Secretary-General of the United Nations and from the opinion of growing numbers, I believe, throughout the country. The paramount interest of our country and most other countries throughout the world is that we should have a peaceful settlement of this dispute. I say we have to try again to secure that peaceful settlement. Yeah.